Okay, so I could make today's video on packing up some bows that I'm going to send out, but I'm going to do something that I think can help some people. Now, I have the ability, even though I'm a city dweller, to set up my charcoal grill, and bake a bow and stuff like that. But what happens if it's raining like it is today? I can't fire harden with my grill outside, and I'm not going to do it in the house because that's not safe. And so I'm going to use my heat gun. And it's probably faster. You don't get as much penetration, but, you got to do what you got to do, so to speak. So I have this test subject that I'm currently straightening out. It is a 51-inch bow that had the doinks, and I filled them with JB Weld. And actually, which JB Weld did I use? I used this stuff. The steel stick. It has slightly less compressive strength than the wood, but this is elm, and there's still a lot of wood on either side. That's the gray stuff there, and then this one on the side. It seemed to work. It seemed to work really well. And I was shooting this bow. I did a video. I just deleted it because I wanted to do this portion of it and not, just fill the internet with stuff. But this 50-pound bow, good draw length, fast, wonderful bow. If I had made that bow and just kept it as it was when I was starting bow making, I would have been thrilled. It's a good shooting bow, man. It's a fast bow. It's good. It's elm. Yay. Right? But the deal is, where these knots were, there were roller coasters. And you can see I've flattened them out with the heat gun. And when it was strung, didn't have a pretty bend. It got to have a pretty bend, right? Because it went from the handle to this first roller coaster where that patch is, and then it was a sharp bend. Same thing with this. And there was some reflex in one of the limbs, and so it was tillered. Nice taper, nice 50-pound bow, but it just didn't look pretty. And I realized that what is the purpose of a bow? It's to shoot arrows. Does it shoot arrows well? Yeah. But a lot of us like to go a step farther. And plus, I want to do a shallow gull wing to this. Not much of a setback handle, just enough. So I could have done this in many ways. I could have tried to steam it and using bending forms. But this, I feel, at this moment, is the most logical way to make the limbs straight, right? If I was to bend this around the form, it's not going to hug that form unless I had a whole bunch of clamps on there, to get rid of the roller coaster. Whereas I can start out with a very straight bow now to going after I have straightened it with heat. Now, some woods, very possibly, you fire harden it, heat shape it, heat straighten it, use whatever term you want to use, right? Some woods, you can't do this and then put a bend in it afterwards without cracking the belly. But I have found that elm is one of those woods where I can heat shape it, straightening it perfectly out. And you can even see, I don't even like that. You see how it kind of, there's a sharp bend there. I want to get rid of that. I want to start out with a perfectly straight stave. I want to gull wing it. Those are the conditions. So what am I going to do? It's 50 pounds now. Knock it down to 45, which means I'm going to sand off some of the surface heat hardening, but it'll still be there, right? Two reasons why I want to do that. I want to make sure that my handle, the setback handle, doesn't pull out. And I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I rushed this job, but the handle does have thickness. It doesn't really bend through the handle like it does bend through the limbs, so I'm good. I sand the limbs, not touching the handle. I'm going to reduce the weight. Relative to the handle, the limbs are going to be bendier. And so, yay. I can set back this handle and it probably won't lose the set. Another condition of elm is when you put a bend in it and you fire harden it or heat harden it, I'm heat hardening and there's no fire here, that it sets the bend nicely. And I saw that with that recurved elm bow made from the same piece of wood as this. This is just a different stave I cut from it. Now, what was I going to say? How I'm going to approach the gullwing is, I'm going to sand it down evenly. The tillering is good on it. Reduce the weight of the limbs, but keep the handle there. And then I'm just going to shoot it till I get some string follow. Hopefully I'll get some string follow. A nice pretty string follow on a nice straight stave. Straight bow. Yay. So what do I do then? Because it's straightened out, I mean, right off the handle there was a roller coaster here. It's gone. Once I get some string follow, then I will put the set back in the handle, and it will be a natural gullwing. A natural shallow gullwing. And the nice thing is, let's backtrack to these patches. If I was using a barbecue grill on this, I couldn't control the heat on those patches, right? But when I can see a red glow on the bow, the concentrated heat. And all I did was, I never took that concentrated glow and put it right over to JB Weld. I went around it. And so I was getting a lot of heat on that JB Weld, but nothing bad happened, and I didn't take that red circle of superheated air from there, and I didn't put that over. I just went around them. And so I had a lot of control here. So I could show you what I do too is I move the clamps and the little pieces of wood that cushion the bow back and forth, you know. And when I was doing the ganks, I had to be careful. I mean, I had a couple clamps in the area because I had to figure out a way to clamp it and put the most leverage on it and then gently flatten it using heat and moving these things around and using a lot of clamps around those roller coasters. But that worked out nicely. Technique, you get the wood hot, then you clamp it, then you heat it some more, and then bring the clamps down, bring them home. Don't try to do them all at once. But yeah, it's working out nicely. I was thinking, this is another thought, that a lot of the bows that you would see in like a Jim Hammer, Steve Allalay book were straight, and then they had like, it's hard to capture that really nice deflex bend. That's hard to like make it look like, you know, if you go to YouTube too, bows of the Comanche, bows and arrows of the Comanche, that fellow has some bows sitting on a table. One has like the belly scooped out, which I don't see any advantage of having like a fluted belly, but you know, to each his own. There's a bow or two, possibly two, there's definitely one there, that has that deflex. I think that was intentional. And so I thought about, I'm going to measure 10 inches in, put my wooden cushions, whatever you want to call them there, clamp it down 10 inches away from the tips, heat harden everything, and then just shoot it so those tips get string follow, because they're going to be less stiff and less prone to string follow, or more prone to string follow than the heat hardened part. And so I was going to induce a natural bend in those by just not fire hardening them. But, you know, this, I was going to do that, then I was going to do this. I'm going to follow on course of having a shallow gullwing, so I'm going to heat harden the whole thing, shoot it till I get even string follow, and then do the handle back set. Now this is kind of a cheat. When they would put hair tufts on the ends, and they had them on self bows too, along with the sinew back bows. This would make a brilliant sinew back bow. They would, and I would, shape the bow and then have that as an integral part, like this little peg sticking out. But I didn't do it on this one, so I'm going to kind of cheat. I'm admitting this. I'm going to drill a hole in the end, make a post, and then glue it in, so I've got that post for the hair tuft, if I decide to do a hair tuft. Again, this bow is just, I'm doing this for fun, prior to packing up bows, still early, post office isn't open yet, just heat hardening it. And, you know, really the heat gun works well. Don't just stick it there and hold it. You have to let the heat go in, so you kind of do it slowly and then speed up the process. Get as much penetration as possible. But yeah, it's working out well. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to heat up this section first. Then I'm going to put a clamp here. Then I might move this clamp to the already hardened area where it's not hardened here, and just continue up. It's no more difficult than that. Well, that is all. Thank you for watching.